every single one of you.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
This is my home. They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here.
Good day, everybody. Whether it's morning, evening, or anywhere in between, welcome to unRekt Traders. I'm going to do a quick Bitcoin analysis on this little bit of a drop we've had. So looking at the monthly here, we have a move up to that 3.2 at 74,000, let's say. Now we do, price will only leave that 3.2, 0.3% of the time, so we did have a pretty big rejection off of it, coming down to price at 68,150 as of right now. But again, because of where the 50 quasi is here, we have extremely strong support at 51,400, and the 10, which is the green and red, is starting to come down. But like I said, you know, we're kind of just hovering in here. Not too much we can say on the monthly because we are range bound between 51,000 and that 74,000. On the weekly, again, everything's starting to curl back down. The 10, the 20 white, 50 aqua, and the 100 yellow. So they're all starting to curl down other than the 200. But again, even where the 200 is, extremely strong support at 50,600. And then even the 20 white at 58,400, very strong support. Now the 10, you know, it's two more days for this weekly to finish out, and then we'll have a new weekly open on the Nexus, which is amazing. But as of right now, you know, that 10 is still above the quasi range, so you know we could move down, getting ready for the new weekly, so that we can continue to push further, coming to the support area of 50,600, or at least just the 10, which would be by next week would be sitting at that 54,000 area. So what we could see is a wick coming, or a body coming down to support 58,300, and then a wick coming down into that 53,000, which would actually be about here next week. So 54,000 range. On the 3-day, not going to be too much different, but again, that 20 white is just above the quasi here. So we're sitting on support, so we kind of came down to support. Again, we have 4 hours before our new 3-day. Once that 3-day forms and this 10 and 20 can push down inside this range, then we can have the move down to support at 56,800. But again, it'll be the same thing, that 50 quasi aqua still very high above the 100 range here. So this is going to be very strong support. So even if this 20 white does come into the range, then more or less what we'll see is a body come down to support at 56,800, and then we may see a wick down to the 20 white here at 52,300, or just to support at 49,800, and then we, you know, more than likely bounce off pretty hard. So the 10 green is our trend line. You can see that we've been riding the 20 Bollinger Band for the most part of this, and the 20 white came out of the range on February 3rd. And has been carrying price ever since. And as long as this white line stays above the range, you know, we're going to ride that 20 white Bollinger Band, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. So same thing, even with the 50, the 100, 200. You know, the 200 came out over here, and we've been above that 200 since October 25th, and we had no worries to coming back into that, you know, anywhere into this range price just because of this alone. So that's been our determining factor. You know, even the 100, for example, you know, we had to start worrying a little bit about the 100 here, but then again, not really, just because of how low this 10 was. And we knew the 10 was coming back in as that 100 was moving in. So this 100 acted as very nice, strong support. And then the 10 pushed us up. And then we had this nice move up, which, I don't know, what is it, 130%, 80%, let's say. So, and that's kind of what we saw. But as long as, you know, the 3 days actually a really nice indicator for support and resistances, because we've known since October that we're not coming back to more or less 34,800 since October 22nd. So now we're starting to come back down on that 10 and 20. So likely come back to these trend lines, but again, support at 56,700 is going to be extremely strong support. Coming into the daily, same kind of thing, just riding that 10 and 20 up to the top. You know, the 200, 100 have been well above the line. A little bit of scare on the 50 here, but again, that 10 was really low. We knew that it would want to come back up, push price up and through, and that's exactly what we saw. So we came down to that 50, acted as strong support. We might have seen at the time of this analysis, I probably would have said, we might see a wick down to the 20 here, and then bounce off. So it didn't even do that in this case. A little bit here, but not really, and then kind of pushed up. So now we're seeing, that 20 came into the range over here on March 14th. So just the other day. So we did see that move down to the 20, more or less have hit it already. But again, that 50 is acting as support. So that until tomorrow, or open tonight, we shouldn't see the body of the candle close below 66,800. So on the daily itself, we're basically range bound between resistance and support. So resistance sitting at 72,300, and then that support at 67,000, let's just say. Now once this 50 can come into the range, which it likely will, unless this 10 really pushes down hard, we should see a little bit of a move back to that 60,000. Now we do have to pay attention to this 10, because tomorrow it will likely be sitting in around the bottom of this quasi range or a little bit below, and then we know it's going to want to pop back up, and then we could get that move to the possible target, or even support, or maybe just a little bit below the 20, and then try and push out of this 50 one more time before collapsing on itself or continuing to make a higher high. 4 hour itself, we have the 10 and the 20 just starting to come up. This 200 is acting as resistance, and the reason why the 200 is acting as resistance is we can see on the quasi here, this 200 is within that range, so it will act as resistance. Now it's not going to be the strongest as of right now, just because it just came into that 200 Bollinger Band, and it typically wants to try and break out one time, likely coming up to the 100, or even just the 20 here, 100, maybe the 50, and then this candle's pretty much already been filled with imbalance on this candle, but there is a possibility that it tries to get up into there one more time, break free completely, and then if it fails, then we'll see that possible target coming down at the 59,400, and things could just completely collapse from here, and we see that anyway. There's this area has been mostly filled, so there's no reason to really come back into it other than to take out liquidity up here. So on the 1 hour itself, just go quickly over this one. We had that 10 pushing down on price, so we came up to that 200 more or less, up into that 50. We had the 50 enter in the lower part of this range, so we knew price wanted to try to get to that 50. 10 was pretty high, so didn't quite get there. You could say it came pretty close, and now we're sitting on that 200 support. And if we kind of zoom in a bit, you can see the 200 is acting as support currently on the 1 hour. 10 trying to push it down, and then even technically even this 100 is acting as resistance right now too at 69,200. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think that pretty much covers the analysis on Bitcoin for what's going on. A little bit of imbalance still left in this guy, but the equilibrium of this candle has been filled pretty much probably perfectly. So yeah, so it's kind of free to continue in the downward trend that it's in, and just draw a quick simple trend line. We can see that it is in the downward direction. I don't like to draw trend lines too much, but that pretty much brings us down to that 3.2 at the 65,000 range. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.
Visit unRekt.me and download our free powerful indicators, and join our community of traders in our Discord server and get full access to the Machine Suite Indicators, the Nexus Suite Indicators, and the Nexus Screener.